Hey everybody, we're talking about who initiates sex and is it a problem if one partner initiates more than the other? I'm Dr. Diane from mylibidodoc.com, board certified sexologist and libido expert. And the answer to this question of is there a problem if one person is initiating sex more than the other? The answer is it depends. And here's what it depends upon. So we know research and study by relationship experts, the Gottmans, they talk a lot about in their work around the idea of bidding, around one person basically bidding for emotional connection from another person. And they talk in their work about how if somebody turns towards and responds to the bid or turns away. And I look at the answer to this question in many similar ways. If one person is always initiating and they are constantly being rejected, this other person is turning away from them and being rejecting, saying they're not interested, that can be really detrimental, right? That can feel like rejection. It can feel like somebody put themselves out there especially with somebody they love and care about, and getting rejected over and over and over again can have an impact. Now, beyond that, let's say that you're in a situation where one person is initiating more than the other and the other is responding, right? Then I would say it's only a problem if it's a problem for you. This could be a perfectly healthy dynamic. And if one person just loves being that initiator and the other person responds, and that is keeping you guys close and you guys are being enjoying intimacy and that's feeling good and nobody's feeling like they are rejected or hurt or anything else by this, then let's not create a problem when there's not a problem. So this becomes a problem only in cases where one person is feeling like, wow, I wish this other person would initiate, and it feels like I'm always having to do the work. And if there's stories like that, then there's time to talk about it. And we want to talk about this in a way where we're naming something and we're bringing it up, but we're also putting each other on the same team. So saying things like, I noticed that I noticed that it seems like I'm doing more of the initiating around sex. And in this situation, we can also ask follow-up questions we can say are you noticing the same? And we're asking that follow-up question, we're almost checking ourselves to say okay, well, memory is not perfect, right? Maybe it's possible this other person was initiating and feels like they're initiating, but maybe it's more subtle. And so you didn't notice it. So when we say, hey, I noticed this, it feels like this, it seems like this, it's what I'm observing. Are you observing the same thing? Does it feel the same way to you? And you might find that this other person, maybe the other partner that you think is not initiating, maybe they feel like they have been and they've been trying to flirt or drop these subtle hints, and maybe they're too subtle for you and you didn't even realize that was what was happening. So when we say we're naming and we're not making anybody bad and we're saying, hey, are you noticing things too? And then you're going to say either I haven't thought about it, or yes, I agree, you are initiating, or actually I feel like I'm initiating, some too. And that's a great time to be curious. And going into these conversations or with that intention around just being curious to draw out the experience of each person. And then if it's bothering you, then we can say hey, I'm curious as to why you don't initiate, as much. I'm curious. I'm realizing it would feel really good to me if I felt like you were coming on to me more. And I just wanted to bring this up so we can explore it, right? So there's ways we can do this to put each other on the same team again, which is always what we're trying to do in our intimate relationships in order to have them be healthy, in order to have these conversations around sex go really well. But again, if you are feeling like, wow, you are the one that is initiating and your partner is responding and you guys are both happy with that and you like to initiate and your partner likes more to be the responsive person, then there's no problem here. If you are in either one of these roles, it's a great question to ask. If you're more of the receiver and the responder, it's a great question to ask of like, what would it feel like to initiate? Do I have any desire to initiate? Would this be serving to me and my own experience? Would this put me into this role where I would feel a little more like powerful and sexy and seductive, right? We can try on these different roles. We have all these different personas inside of us, right? So we can try this on to say, hey, would it feel good? What would this be like? Right? And we can experiment with that. But from a standpoint of like, is it bad or is it a problem? Only if it's really, truly, I would say only a problem if somebody feels like whatever side they're on, if they're feeling like they're missing out on something or there's a lack or there's this desire to have this experience in a different way. So it really does depend. And that's why having these kind of conversations are so helpful. And I find these conversations can be so fun because they can really bring this flirty back. Talking about sex is fun, you guys. Like, it's fun. It's one of the reasons I love this topic because it doesn't have to be this really intense thing. Like, once we drop all the intensity around it, it can be this fun, flirty, hot thing, right? And it can really be a turn on and part of the foreplay once we learn to be on the same team, to not make anybody wrong, to not take anything personally, and to remember that we're just working together to be more intimate and more love and have a more passion-filled, pleasure-filled life. I hope you guys will join me in my Libido Club. The Libido Club is where I go through so much more, anything from how to fix your thyroid and your sex hormones, how to eat right for your sex drive, to how to talk to your partner, how to communicate, how to work with pelvic health problems, vaginal dryness, pain, and so much more. So I hope you'll join me in the club. There's information below about how to join it. Please do subscribe. Please, please, please. I really, really appreciate when you do. It does help me not only get you this information, but it helps me reach more people. And I want as many people as possible to get pleasure and passion back into their life. It's so balancing. It's so healing. And it's such a great way of staying really connected to our lover, our partner. All right, everybody. I'll see you soon. Take care.